More phone calls coming up. 877-3DP show. Poll question, who had the worst loss of the weekend? We bring in Herm Edwards, ESPN football analyst and former NFL and college head coach and a former defensive back as well. How do you react as a coach when your offense is putting up 40 and your defense is giving up 40 and it doesn't enter the locker room, it doesn't divide the team?
It's tough, Dan, and obviously that is kind of taking place in Cincinnati right now, and that's a tough conversation that you're going to have with the whole team, but then particularly with some of the players that are a little frustrated at this point. You're going to have to call them in and say, "Look, I understand. We all get it, but we got to make sure we keep this in house." And that we continue to try to win a game. And obviously, when you coach on one side of the ball your whole life, and let's say I was a defensive guy, you take it personal that your defense is playing like this as a head coach. Or if your offense on the other side of it, you're losing games, 14-7 and stuff like that. You're going, hey man, offensively. So you take it personal. Obviously, you talk to those guys on the side of the ball, defensive coaches, and say, look, what are we doing to make sure that they don't get the big explosive plays? Because when you watch Cincinnati, I mean, it's almost like, oh, man. I mean, every time they throw the ball, it's a 20-yard completion. It's like, man. And look, they might not have a rush with all that, but you got to stop that. You got to stop some bleeding somewhere, right? If they're running the ball and – well, you say, Coach, what we got to do? We got to put, I don't care if we put 9 guys in the box. They're not going to run the ball. We got to do something to stop this. So that's part of the discussion.
Watching the Chiefs yesterday, not surprised they lost in Buffalo, but here's the bigger picture. DraftKings still has them with, I think, Buffalo as the team to beat for the Super Bowl. The best odds. And I'm going, okay. If I said, would you bet on the Chiefs making the Super Bowl or not making the playoffs right now? Because both are a very realistic.
I think they find a way to get in the playoffs, right? Because, look, Dan, the more you look at this, and I'm kind of looking at this, I'm going, look, there's only 2 teams with 7 wins. There's 6 teams with 6 wins? I mean, it's like all these divisions all of a sudden have they're close. I mean, they're close. All of a sudden, if I'd have told you, hey, by the way, in week 9, the Chicago Bears are going to have the same record as the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. You say, Coach, what you talking about? No, they all got 5 wins. 5 wins. And so you sit here, and every time you think you figured out a division or a team, you go, they're all the same. Right? I mean, Dan, we generally have a team that kind of runs away from everybody. That's not the case anymore.
But your eyes don't lie when,
no.
You can tell me, let's take the record out of this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you look at a team and the Bears aren't as good as the Lions or the Packers, but they're, on equal footing here. The Chargers and the Broncos aren't as good as the Chiefs probably in people's minds, but your eyes don't lie when you're watching some of the Broncos won a really tough game.
You are correct. And the Broncos are a hard out because they don't allow you to score points. They got a young quarterback. They don't give up a lot of points. I mean, they hold you under. When a defense can hold you under 20 points, last time I checked, that's pretty good, right? In this league, in the NFL, where it's a throwing league, everybody can score. And so you're running against some teams now that all of a sudden defensively, Seattle Seahawks. They play good. There's some teams that are playing deep, and it warms my heart when I see it. I go, oh, we can still play defense in this league, right? And I think those teams that can do that, they have the ability to go on the road and beat teams, right? When you can play defense, because defense travels. It can play in any condition. Offense, not so much. If you're in the dome, yeah, but when you get outside, all of a sudden the weather kind of predicts. We can't throw it 50 times a day, boys. Right? It's interesting.
Why was Jaden Daniels in there down 38-7?
Yeah, that's a hard one there, and I knew that was going to come up as soon as I saw it. Yeah, and I think there comes a point to where, first of all, we know the players are competitive, and they don't ever want to come out. Sometimes you got to protect it from yourself. And I think there's a point in that third quarter where you're looking at it and you're going, okay, how many possessions do I have left? I got 4 possessions left, probably in this game. Coach, we got to have to pull the quarterback, right? And you got to make that decision. And it's hard. And sometimes you get caught up in the game and you're so competitive. You want your good guys in the game. But there comes a point to where I got to get him out, right? Because he's already been injured twice.
I know. That's the point. When I'm watching, I'm going, take him out. Take him out. Yeah. I know he just got back. I don't want to give him more reps. I want to protect him long haul. And now his season's over.
Yeah, because you're not bringing him back. I don't care what they say. He's done for the year. I mean, if I'm in that organization, I'm going, hey, we got to now, 3 times in 1 year is a lot. So let's just rest him now.
We're talking to Herm Edwards of the Mothership. Yeah, I got the odds here. Super Bowl odds. The Bills have the best odds. Then it's the Chiefs. Then it's the Rams.
Ooh.
Matthew Stafford has stayed healthy, Herm, and I thought if he stayed healthy, I thought they were going to beat the Eagles last year. If that game goes 60 seconds more, they probably win that game. I just don't he's been incredible. When you talk about MVP candidate, we might not be talking about him, but Stafford has been wonderful.
He's unbelievable. He's fun to watch. And look, and they were winning games without Nakua. Now he's back.
I know.
And their defense doesn't get a lot of credit. They do a nice job, too. This is a very well-coordinated team. They can run the football. They can throw the football. They play good defense. They have the elements that can travel. I know they play in a dome and all that. They can play outside. This team, it ain't one of them teams, I got to play in the dome. No. They can go play outside, right? They're a tough football team. It's just they're in a division. I look at that division, I go, wow, everyone's got 6 wins over there. Seattle's got 6, San Francisco. Believe it or not, with all the injuries, San Francisco's still finding ways to win football games. And then the Rams. The Rams are probably the fun team to watch because of how they play offense, right? This is like, wow, look at this stuff, man. It's just fun. And then you marvel at Matthew Stafford, and you mentioned Matthew Stafford. We got to tip our hat to this guy. How about Joe Flacco? I mean, Joe Flacco. It's almost like he leaves for a couple weeks, get him at the bus stop. Hey, Joe, come on in here. And all he does is throw touchdowns. The guy just throws touchdowns.
Unbelievable. He's doing exactly what Joe Burrow would be doing.
Yes.
But the defense has been terrible. Here it is. The Bengals are the first team to lose consecutive games in which they scored 38 or more. You have to go back to 1966 last time that happened.
Yeah, you would think when in the NFL you score 30 points, you're going to win a lot of football games. But that's not – the league has – and Dan, you've covered the league as long as I've been involved in it. It's just – it's amazing what these quarterbacks can do and these offenses can do to you now and how they can score. It's just like – it almost reminds you of college football something. I'm like, it's the NFL, man. They just score. If you don't have a pass rush and you don't tackle well, you got a problem. You got a major problem. And there's a lot of teams that don't have those two.
Convince me that what you saw with the Colts is not part of a bigger picture, bigger problem for this team.
Well, this was the test for the Colts. And I've been saying, look, he went from Danny Dimes to Indiana Jones when he was in Indiana now. And then he plays Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh had just lost the prior week at home. And I said it. I'm in the studio. I said, Pittsburgh ain't losing another one at home, boys. And you know what showed up? Kind of like the Ravens have done the last couple of weeks. The Pittsburgh defense showed up. And it was like, oh, boy. Dan, he had no shot. They had no shot to win that game. The way that defense played, 5 sacks, turnover. He had no shot. It was like, uh-oh. And so now you
Is this just an off week, Herm, for the Colts?
You know, every week they were winning. When they were winning, you kept saying the wheels are coming off, and then they just kept winning, and finally said maybe they're a really good team. And then they played Pittsburgh, and now you're scratching your head again. Well, what kind of team are they? Right? I think they win the division. Right? I mean, the Jaguars going to win the division? No. Houston, Texas going to win the division? No. Tennessee Titans going to win the division? No. It's their division to lose. The Indianapolis Colts are going to win the division.
Explain to me how the Packers at home lose to I'm going to give Carolina credit, okay?
Yeah.
They played well, and they run the football. They kept it close. But you're the Packers at home?
That was an eye. You're right, Dan, because that's a special place, and I know that being a former player going to Green Bay, playing there and coaching against the Packers as well. The Packers played down to the competition, and here's my take on it too. You know what I said? Think about it, Dan. This year, for some reason, they're bringing back these old uniforms. And almost 90% of the teams that wore those old uniforms, they lose. When I looked at the Green Bay Packers and they had that old helmet on, I said, these boys are in trouble today. They're in trouble. If you want to wear those uniforms, wear them in practice. Don't wear them in a real game. I mean, I saw the Chargers wear that banana suit they had on, all that yellow, and I said, that is the ugliest looking thing I've ever seen. They lost. Pittsburgh went back to that old uniform. They lost. Every time I turn around, when they put on that suits, them old suits, I go, they're going to lose. We don't want to see those old suits.
Although Seattle brought back the Jim Zorn uniform.
And that was okay. We're used to that one. Okay. But when they take it way back.
Well, Seattle can't take it too far back.
No, that's what's good about Seattle. They only can go so far.
What do you expect? Is this going to be a game tonight? Can this be a game tonight with the Cowboys and the Cardinals?
If you're the Cowboys, you don't want to make it a game. This offense can score now. They can, and the Cardinals are struggling some, but the offense of the Dallas Cowboys, you know, prior to the last couple of weeks, this was the number one offense in the league. Now, their defense wasn't very good. Right, Jerry, poor Jerry. He just can't figure it out. He's got this high flying offense. And Dak Prescott was playing at MVP level last couple of weeks, you know, until, you know, but this offense is fun to watch. But the defense, damn, they can't stop anybody. I mean, they can't now. So Arizona might have a chance, but I don't think they can keep up with the pace of the Cowboys' offense.
Do you think Jerry does something? We saw the Eagles; they made a move here. They made a couple of moves. Does Jerry go after one of these edge rushers? Does he try to go re-engage with the Raiders with Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals?
I would think it'd have that conversation. They're 3-4-1. They got a hill to climb to get to the playoffs, right? I mean, the worst case scenario. Can they get in as a wild card? I don't know that.
Could they have gotten in with Micah Parsons?
He helps you in this sense, but here's the problem: they can't stop the run.
Yeah, but they brought in a run stopper.
Yeah, and they're 32nd. One guy can't do it. You need linebackers too. You know, you need some other guy. One guy just can't do it by himself. He may control the A gap, but there's another A gap over there on the other side, and there's 2 B gaps they can run to. And the last time I checked, you better have some linebackers that can step up in there and play those gaps.
Is anybody around you there at the mothership? Are you in a room by yourself?
No, I'm over here. I'm over here in the radio row. You know, the radio.
Okay.
I slipped over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Came in the radio.
No, yeah. I didn't know if people wanted to know who you were talking to, but
yeah, they know. I told them who I was talking to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell everybody there I said hello. All right.
I will.
Great to talk to you, buddy. Thank you, Herm.
You too, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
That's Herm Edwards, former coach. He coached at Arizona State with Jaden Daniels before Jaden went to LSU. A former defensive back.